Good morning, friends. Thanks for popping in here. I woke up feeling good this morning and decided to try live reading some more text messages again. Hopefully, I won't have to dip out early due to allergies again today. Hey, Shiny Lamb, good to see you in here. Thanks for jumping in. We have made it through June 2020 of their text messages, so we're almost exactly 2 years out from the crash. We're moving along with them, still quite a bit to go. Hey, Z Raven Girl. But yeah, we're starting on June 8th, and it looks like they're about to have one of the usual fights, and Mackenzie's having some kind of medical procedure that she's flipping out about. I think something with her teeth. She mentioned that to Dom. He just didn't ask much about it or seem interested. Let me go ahead and share those. Share that screen. Okay. So right after midnight, just a few seconds after midnight, is where the texts start on the 8th. And I can't remember what they were talking about. Oh, Dom was hungover the day before. And Mackenzie was talking about trying not to puke and this and that. And Mackenzie was like, "Are we going to go to the beach? FaceTime." Oh, crap. My tabs are streaming up again. Z Raven Girl says she has like 10 cavities, miss health food. Yeah, that's something I am so curious to see if we're going to see it change. Is all we've heard about is that her and Dom were so conscious about their diet and everything, but we've just seen them eat junk over and over. Anyway, okay, starting on the 8th, just after midnight, Mackenzie says, FaceTime if you want, and your car windows were open. Dom says, oh no. He responds at 6:30 in the morning. And then at 9:53 says, text me when you up. Mackenzie says, good morning, babe. At 10:30, Dom says, good morning. How you feeling right now? Mackenzie says, worried as fuck. Trying to tell myself it's going to be okay, but I'm scared. Dom says, you'll be fine. They ain't do 10 years of college and medical school for nothing. Mackenzie says, yeah, true. I just never did anything like this before. I'm going to wear your hoodie there, so I think of my babe. Dom says, aw, yeah, you'll probably fall asleep, but you'll wake up like nothing happened. Probably just be super tired. Mackenzie says, I hope that's what happens. I'm going soon. You got to come see me after. Dom says, okay, I will a little later because you'll probably sleep most of the day. Mackenzie says, okay, babe. Also, I'm on FaceTime with Maddie. She's saying sell to Mar, so she doesn't have to. Dom says, yeah, he was talking to me about the weed and then didn't text back. Mackenzie says, LMAO, babe. I made a TikTok, but it's private. I'll show you when I'm with you. Dom says, LMAO, okay, bit. Mackenzie says, I'm so scared right now. Dom says, are you there yet? She says, no, I'm going at 12:30. It's 12:05 when she's sending this. She says, I'm so ducking scared. You want to FaceTime for a minute? Babe, please answer Insta. I'm about to go to sleep. Thanks for answering. Dom says, I was driving. I'm sorry. Mackenzie says, so I'm ducking mad. Dom says, why? How did it go? Are you okay? Mackenzie goes to all caps and she says, they didn't effing put me to sleep. Dom says, why? Were you okay? She says, no. He says, what happened? She says, I'm so effing mad. He says, did it hurt? She says, they didn't even effing put me to sleep. They just numbed my mouth. Now I didn't smoke for nothing. Dom says, so did it hurt? Mackenzie says, they didn't even do it, Dom. Dom says, you'll get so high, Kenzie. She says, they just numbed my effing mouth. Dom says, and now we can go to Olive Garden. Mackenzie says, I'm so effing M-A mad. M-A-F. I think she meant to say mad. She says, can I come over as soon as I'm home? I'm effing pussed. My mom lied. Dom says, I'm sorry, babe. She says, I'm so effing mad. Dom says, don't be mean to me, though. Mackenzie says, now my mouth is numb. I'm not going to be mean to you, Bab. Dom says, it'll only be numb for a little. They would probably numb it anyway, even if you weren't asleep. Mackenzie says, can I come over when I'm home? Dom says, depends when my dude gets here. Mackenzie says, please, I'm so pissed. I want to get the fuck away from my mom. She fucking lied. Dom says he should be here soon. Mackenzie says, okay, good. I'm going to be home soon. Roll a backwood. I'm so effing mad. I could effing kill someone. Let me know when I can come. I need to leave my house ASAP. I didn't smoke for 4 days for effing nothing. Emphasized roll a backwood. Dom says, it'll be cool. Mackenzie says, is he going to be there soon? It's not going to be cool. Dom says, I don't know. I got to wait for him and then I have to dip. Mackenzie says, now I got to make another appointment. Bruh. Dom says, did you not get your teeth drilled? Mackenzie says, can you just pick me up then? No, bruh. Dom says, I have to dip for 30 seconds. Mackenzie says, they just numbed me, then I left. Dom says, why? Mackenzie says, I don't effing know. I'm so mad. Like they said I was getting put to sleep when I was away while the time, it's hard to read this. She's messing up. She says, I'm so mad. Like they did IES getting out to sleep when I was away the while time I felt every effing shot the out in my guns. I'm not foying back to the R word. I'm going to be home soon. I do not want to see my mom. Can I just walk to your house when I get home? Dom says, no, I can't. I'm waiting on my dude. Mackenzie says, rush him. He says, I can't. Mackenzie says, why can't you rush him? I'm so ducking mad. Dom says, because I don't know him. Mackenzie says, I want to get the F away from my mom. Dom says, just go chill for a sec. Mackenzie says, she effing tricked me. I'm not getting my teeth fixed anymore. I didn't smoke for 4 days for nothing. Wasted my effing time. Dom says, why aren't you getting them fixed? Mackenzie says, because I'm done. I don't give a fuck anymore. Dom says, oh. Mackenzie says, yeah, and that kid needs to hurry the F up. When you gonna leave, come get me. I'm home. Did he come? Dom says, his dude on the way. Mackenzie says, how far away? Dom says, I don't know, like 20 or something, maybe less. Mackenzie says, can I just come right now? Wait in your room. Dom says, he was supposed to call me back and let me know how far the dude is. Mackenzie says, I'm walking over when I do come. Walking is going to take a minute. I just want to come now. Dom says, you pressuring me is pissing me off. Mackenzie sends a sad face. Dom says, he hasn't been hitting me up good. Mackenzie says, so he didn't come yet? Dom says, no, not yet. Mackenzie says, bruh, today has been the worst day of the year. Dom says, well, that's good. Mackenzie says, how is that good? Dom says, a lot of people seen way worse days. Oh my God. Let me check comments real quick. Like, it sounds like all that happened is her mom expected that they were going to put her under. They used to put people under for things way more willy-nilly, in my opinion, than they do nowadays. And then it turned out they weren't planning to do that. And so in Mackenzie's mind, her mom lied. She lied to her and tricked her. Stacia says, I think she's psychologically addicted to it. Yeah, addicted to drama and being high. Kathleen says, Kenzie, the drama queen. Thanks for stopping in, Stacia and Kathleen. Shiny Lamb says, why is she so worried about the time she didn't spend high? LMAO, weird. Right. Yeah. Like she could have, as Dom often suggests to his credit, she could have read a book, worked on her hobbies, worked on her art, just whatever. Oh, thank you, Stacia. Stacia says, my Natalie impression is on point. No. Hey, Kaylee B, good to see you in here. Hey, Rainbow Ribbons. Rainbow says she's very high 1980s. Be kind to her grammar. Oh, man. Stacia01 says, no wonder she has anxiety. 4 days without LOL. JK, sorry. Well, even when she's smoking, she's like, no, Dom, I can't have normal weed. I get too high. I need a dab. Nothing's ever right or good enough for her. Oh, man. Oh, thank you so much, Shiny Lamb, for the jewels. I appreciate it. Trying to make sure I didn't miss greeting anyone else in here. If I am, I'm sorry. Let me switch back to the messages now. Thank you, Kathleen. Kaylee B says, oh, she was crazy. I'm not getting my teeth done. That'll show my mom. Right? Yeah. Oh, man. They're too strong for me too, Stacia, but I am also old. I'm an elder millennial, born in the early 1980s. Okay, so yeah, Dom says a lot of people seen way worse days. Again, it's a mature thing for him to say here at 18. Mackenzie says, well, I'm not talking about other people, Dom. I'm talking about how the dentist fucked me over, and now I have to sit here on 2 different medicines that I have no clue what they are with a numb ass mouth. I can't even do duck lips. Oh my god, the worst day of her life. She can't do duck lips. Ah, poor Kenzie. Oh man. Oh, I gotta tell you all something funny. So yesterday, my husband and I, 1970, otherwise known as Tempered Iron on his new account, he the other day we were at a restaurant and we've been reading the Mackenzie Sharilla text messages so much, or me anyway, and him listening to me here. Our waitress looked like Mackenzie Sharilla, and I was like, "Oh my god, baby, look, she's Mackenzie's fuck." And he goes, "Bet." Anyway, we have too much fun. Kathleen says, I do not know what dabs are. Do they eat them? No, dabs are not edibles. Dabs are, it's like THC concentrated into an oil or like down to a resin. And you have to heat up this glass instrument, usually called a nail, and, like, it's crazy, you gotta heat it up, like, all the way till it's, like, cherry red, then let it cool, and then here's how they get their name, you put a dab of the resin or wax, whatever. Yeah, Stacia one says waxy kinda. Um, you put that on that hot nail and it smokes up and you inhale that. The smoke is all THC oils. Exactly, rainbow ribbons. It is so much work, and honestly, to me, it just doesn't feel natural. I like the natural feeling of smoking, the good Lord's herb, green herb, the devil's lettuce. Yeah, that's true, Kaylee B. Stacia says it's not an old school bag with seeds for sure. Oh, that's the dang truth. I pulled up a picture of actual like 1970s weed that was shown in High Times as award-winning weed the other day to show 1970 tempered iron to show him, and he was like, "Oh my god," and he doesn't even smoke, but he sees it with me. He was like, "That looks crazy compared to what I see you getting from the dispensaries." Exactly, Z Raven. No duck lips. The horror. Worst day of her life. Okay, let me get off my brain trails here and switch back. That's exactly what it looked like, Shiny Lamb. Stickweed all the way. Okay. Um, Dom says, just look them up. Mackenzie says, I can't look them up. They just gave me them. They're talking about the prescriptions. She's saying she doesn't know what they are. Dom's like, you can just look them up. Dom says, oh, I don't know. You're probably fine. Mackenzie says, I am not fine at all. Dom says, but yeah, stop complaining. People seen way worse days. Life is a blessing. Mackenzie says, I'm so mad at my mom for telling me I'm going to be put to sleep. Dom says, I don't know. Mackenzie says, like she knew I was going to be up and she effing lied. I felt every shot they put in my mouth, and your homie is taking way too long. Dom says, who cares? It's over. Mackenzie says, what? What you typed made 0 sense. As soon as he leaves, can I start walking over? Dom says, who cares? It's over. Mackenzie says, I care because I just wasted my ducking day, and I wasted 4 days of not smoking when I could have smoked. As soon as he leaves, can I walk over? Dom says, who cares if you didn't smoke for 4 days? Mackenzie says, I care. Dom says, it doesn't matter now. Mackenzie says, I've had the worst anxiety. I smoke to make my anxiety chill. As soon as he leaves, can I walk over? Dom says, I mean, I guess. Mackenzie says, oh my God, what? And then she did a question on, as soon as he leaves, can I walk over? And then texted a question mark. Dom says, I mean, I guess. You're making me so effing mad. Mackenzie says, why are you getting mad? You were supposed to be there for me. Dom says, because you're so unreasonable. Mackenzie says, I just got 4 shots in my mouth and my dentist was effed. How am I being unreasonable? Dom says, and you're being bitchy. Mackenzie says, this isn't fair to me. Wow. No, I'm not. And I'm a little out of it from the weird pill they gave me. You need to chill out and be nicer to me. I just got back from a stressful ass appointment. Dom says, you need to chill out and be nicer to me. Mackenzie says, I am being nice to you, Dom. Dom says, you don't know the stress I deal with all the time. Mackenzie says, it's not a race to see who has the most stress, Dom. I'm just saying, like today was really effed, and now I have another appointment where I have to get an IV put in my arm, and I can't smoke those 4 days either. Dom says, OMG, it's not a race. Mackenzie says, like, half of my face is numb and I'm kind of out of it. Just chill on me. I'm not trying to be bitchy. Yes, I know, Dom. I was just trying to come over so I can get the fuck away from my mom that lied. I don't know why you starting to get mad at me. That's stressing me out. Dom says, you don't know what the fuck is going on, okay? So don't get on my case. Mackenzie says, Dom, I'm not. I'm just trying to come over. Question, what is going on? This is really upsetting me. I told you I'm numb and a little out of it. Did that guy come through yet? Dom says, bruh, stop. Mackenzie says, stop what? I don't know why you are treating me like this right now. I'm not trying to argue with you. You said you could come over after. You're really stressing me out right now. Please stop being mean. Dom says, stop fucking bothering me. Like the fuck, I do so much shit. And if I don't answer your text in 5 minutes, you got to call me. Like, F out of here. Remember what I said about people stressing me and wasting my time? Chalked. Mackenzie says, what the fuck? You did not need to say that. That was really mean. I'm allowed to ask you if that guy came and left. Dom says, you're worried about your teeth. I'm worried about my future and my freedom. Mackenzie says, why are you still being mean? Just don't be mean. You told me when I was on the way back we could hang. I don't get what changed. Like, I just want to come see you. Today was really hard for me, and you know that. You're making me so sad. You were being really rude to me for no reason. Please do not leave me on red. Wow, you are so fucking nice to me for like 4 days, and you just start being mean again. Like, this isn't right, Dom. Dom says, don't text me way too much. My dude about to be here. Mackenzie says, okay, then don't leave me on red, and I wouldn't text you a lot. LMAO. When he leaves, can I walk over? The numbing is spreading. Dom says, it's probably going away soon. That's probably why. Mackenzie says, I don't know. It moved in my chin. I look slow as fuck right now. Did your homie dib? Dom says, yeah, it's probably going away soon. Mackenzie says, you think? I don't know. I just looked it up and it says 1 to 3 hours. Dom says, yeah, he just came through, but I might have to run somewhere real quick. Mackenzie says, can I just walk over right now and you can go whoever real quick? Dom says, maybe, let me see. Mackenzie says, I don't really care if I'm there alone for like 20. Can I, babe? Dom says, sure. Mackenzie says, okay, I'm walking now. Dom says, don't talk about earlier. Just forget it. I won't be mad. Mackenzie says, okay, babe. Babe, ask people. I asked Kristen and Lexi. Lexi says Devin works. Oh, the okay, babe was their last text on the 8th. Then they go to the 9th, and it's Mackenzie texting him at almost noon. Let me check comments again real quick before we go to the 9th. Let's scroll up here. Hey, Shorty Pie. We got Shorty Pie in the comments. Kathleen Flex says, poor baby. Yeah. Oh, that's a good comparison, Kaylee. Kaylee B says, for our older smokers, dabs are kind of like our hash. Yeah, that makes good sense. Kathleen Fleck. Shorty Pie says, why is she stealing Dom's madness? Yeah. She accused Dom of stealing her anger before. Rainbow Ribbon says, that's her being nice? Yeah, apparently so. Stacia says, I'm vaping now and may or may not live in a Kegel state. Well, I know what you meant to say, Stacia. Oh, man. Kaylee B says she sounds like my 6-year-old without her nap, right? Kathleen says, pass it, Stacia. Puff, puff, give. Oh, man. Kathleen says, I have gummies, hint, Delta 9. We'll have some later. Nice, nice, nice. Hey, Joy. Good to see you. Joy says, don't leave me on red. Hey, JK. Thanks for stopping in. JK says, happy Monday. Kathleen says, Stacia, it helps my back. I'm able to sleep good. I'm so glad that it helps your back, Kathleen. Awesome. Okay, let's start the 9th. So like I said, it's about 10 minutes till noon, and Mackenzie says, babe, ask people. I asked Kristen and Lexi says Devin works. Dom says, Demian and Travis invited me to the beach. Mackenzie says, can I come? That would be fun. Dom says, I don't know if I'm trying to go to the beach as 4. Mackenzie says, it would probably be pretty fun. We can smoke there or some shit. Did you mean to leave me on red? Dom says, I didn't know what to say. Mackenzie says, so you don't want to go with them? We can go with AJ. Dom says, I said I don't know. Mackenzie says, "Do you not wanna go swimming?" Dom says, "Inward? Never mind." Yeah, because it's very obvious. I'm not saying yeah to him using the N-word, like, that's a thing that they do, and I hate it. I complain about it all the time. What I'm saying yeah to is the fact that it seems very obvious he doesn't wanna go with her. He wants to go with his friends to the beach, but Mackenzie's trying to horn in and trying to pretend that she doesn't understand that Dom doesn't wanna go with her. He just wants to go with them, you know? Yeah, like, it's just crazy. Anyway, so Mackenzie says, still being oblivious, "I guess we can swim in the lake if you don't wanna go that far because of the car. Babe, you don't have to get mad. You know, I've been excited about this for like 4 days." Dom says, "What lake?" Mackenzie says, "My lake. We can just slide down the waterfall, but it will only be a little fun." Okay. Dom says, "Maybe." Mackenzie says, "Also, really close beaches are Wallace Lake and Hinkley Lake." Dom says, "I don't know if I can swim today because my stomach's still effed up." Mackenzie says, "Really? That for real sucks. I wanted to go swimming so bad today. Try to take a Tums and drink a lot of water." Dom says, "It doesn't hurt. It's just messed up. I don't want to have to shit bad all of a sudden." when I'm at the lake." Oh my God. He always has to bring up, in his terminology, taking a shit. Good Lord. Oh my God. Oh my God. Um, Stacia says, "I do have a question. I was listening to an interview last night with Natalie. She says she's from Ohio. Natalie, wait, I thought she was from Canada. She sounds Canadian. I've never looked into where she's from, but I would have thought Canadian as well. And I don't make fun of, Canadian accents just on the norm, but Natalie is just so annoying that I can't seem to stop myself. Love our Canadian friends. We got lots of them usually around here in the chat. I know some of them are still asleep at the moment. That's all right. Kaylee B says they made our Delta 8 illegal here in Alabama. Thank goodness I have my card. Thank goodness. Yes, yes. Right, Kathleen? Okay. Yeah, so Dom he's now trying to say, does it want to go to the lake because he might have to take a shit. Because he says that would suck so bad. Lake bathrooms gross as hell too. Want to just go to Wallace and bring the canoes and kick it and tan? If you down, just try to shit before. Dom says I might just try and get more shit done. Mackenzie says, "Oh, so you don't want to go swimming today, babe?" Dom says, "I don't know. Jared looking for a place to swim." Dom says, "I hope he finds somewhere. I really want to swim today." Dom says, "Me too." Mackenzie says, "Peaches are good. I'm eating one." She says, "If we go swimming, we got to go soon. It's about to be the peak. Babe." Dom says, "Why would we do that?" Mackenzie says, "What you mean?" Dom says, "Because then I'd have to drive when it's the most hot." Mackenzie says, "True, but that's when it would be best time to swim." Did he find a spot? Dom says, "He did, but the girl's dad is a cop. How much money do we have left in the account?" What the shit? They've got a joint account. She's 15, he's 18 and selling weed and they have a joint checking account? What the fuck? Like I don't get it. I'm dumbfounded. How do they even have a joint checking account? Like she's a minor. I'm just stunned. Okay, anyway, let me switch back. Dom says, "Yeah, how much money do we have left in the account?" Mackenzie says, 312. What's wrong with the girl's dad being a cop? I'm down to go. Duh. Mackenzie, you're dating a dealer and you guys smoke all the time in a place where it's illegal. And you're confused on why Dom wouldn't want to be around a cop and a cop's family. Dom replies and states the obvious. He says, "We can't smoke there." Oh, good grief. Mackenzie's response is, "Oh, that's gay." Then she says, "If anything, we can go in your car to smoke." Dom says, "Yeah, when it's 90 degrees and her dad is a cop, very smart." Dom says, "True. I mean, we can just smoke before." No, like the girl's dad is a cop. obviously you're not gonna go around her smelling like weed is what Dom's trying to get through to Mackenzie, but she is absolutely obtuse, and I can't tell if it's intentional or unintentional. Yeah, she's 15 though, Stacia. Like, weird, 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 weird. A joint one at 15. Yeah, 16 I can kind of see, like, you can have a driver's license and, back in the day whenever I worked at banks before I went to work for a financial software company, yeah, banks do, accounts, like student accounts all the time for 16 and ups, and then they have minor savings accounts for 16 and under, like, that's been normal for a long, long time. But to have a joint account with someone not your, parent or guardian at 15 seems super, super weird. "Hey, Pippadot, good to see you in. No worries, thanks for stopping by." "Gas money and a job," Stacia says. Yeah, it's just crazy, crazy. Okay, let me switch in here. Pippadot says Kathleen still have issues emailing Millennial. Yeah, I haven't got anything. Sadly, I have Kathleen's ready to pass on to you. Is there anyone else? I was about to say, is there anyone else that you email? I've been thinking about starting a millennial Facebook and Instagram because I think more of you are on Facebook and Instagram because I do have a millennial TikTok where messages can be sent that way. But yeah, if I started a millennial Facebook and Instagram, I think y'all would have an easier time messaging me than just email. I've been hesitant to do it because I have a hard time keeping up with too many different apps. I already have an issue trying to keep up with just YouTube and TikTok. But yeah, I think I might go ahead and start a millennial Facebook and Instagram just so that we have more methods of communication for people who have trouble with the email or don't use TikTok kind of thing. But hey, Ruth Carol, good to see you in. No problem. No, we don't think that at all, Pippadot. You're not the only one. A lot of people have had problems with my email because I made my channel name and my email name really freaking long and I spelled things weird. So yeah, that's on me, not you. Okay, let me switch back to the messages. Yeah, so Mackenzie said, or sorry, Dom says, I don't know. I might have you just do an order for me. It's really long though. An order for him. Weird. I don't know. Mackenzie says, I'm at the lake with Roz and Lana. I'll do it though. Do you want to go to Wallace Lake though? Dom says, I don't know who Roz is. Mackenzie says, a daycare kid. Want to hang soon? Oh, it's freaks me out. I wonder, like, she's 15. She's not 16 yet here, but I don't know how Ohio was in 2020 with permits and things. So, yeah, it's weird that she's going places, taking daycare kids with her. We know she's smoking like a freight train all the time and mentally unstable with her mood. She goes from super happy to raging in no time. It's like, she's running around with little children in her care. I hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Hate knowing that. Hey, JK, thanks for stopping in. JK says Instagram and Facebook posts can link up and cross post. Only need to post one time. It goes to both. Oh, good to know. That'll help out some. Awesome, awesome. Stacia says, I want to go to the lake. Let's go. Hell yeah. Oh man. Okay, so let me switch over here. After she says a daycare kid, Mackenzie says, want to hang soon? Dom says, oh yeah, maybe. Let me see what I have to do. Mackenzie says, okay, let me know. I'm trying to see I'm sweating. Dom says, me too. My house freezing and it way too hot. Dom says, Mackenzie says, LMAO, your house is always so cold. Dom says, that AC fire. Mackenzie says, LMAO, I'm tanning. Dom says, you going to get brown as fuck. Mackenzie says, I was just out for a while. I just went in. Dom says, I think we found someone with a pool. Mackenzie says, woo, bet. Hannah Sormaz has a pool. I seen on her story. Mackenzie says, "Don't get mad, please. But to be honest, I'm kind of annoyed because I've been telling you for a couple of days that I want to go swimming on this day. Now it's the day and you don't want to go anywhere. Please don't get mad." Dom says, "Yeah, but you only say let's go to Wallace Lake. And unless I really want to go, I don't really want to drive my car." Mackenzie says, "Yeah, I wish you had a car with AC, and Hinkley Lake is close too. I'm saying Wallace Lake because it's closer. I just want to get in any water." Dom says, "Get in your lake." Mackenzie says, "Also, I KKW Tyler T Rex." Dom says, "T Rex what?" Mackenzie says, "That's a great idea. Let me just go swim alone." Dom says, "And Hannah Hormez probably wouldn't let us swim in her pool." Mackenzie says, "He said when he gets his license soon that he'll go places with us, sees his car has AC. I think she would." Uh, Something occurred to me I wanted to highlight here and say, and I just blanked out completely. What the heck was it? Oh. So about their joint checking account and everything, like unless we see Dom's fortunes drastically change in the future, we see Dom sell weed and get an influx of cash, buy, $1,000 shoes or whatever, then turn around, have $312 in their checking account, and be driving a car with no AC. This is not a guy, in my opinion, who appears to have come from money or made a lot of money in crypto. The only time so far we've seen him talk about crypto, he was telling Kenzie that before her, he used to be making mad cash doing crypto deals and stuff like that. And now he never has time because she forces him to be on the phone with her constantly or fighting. So, yeah, one of my goals with reading through these whole things is to figure out exactly which narrative about them is correct because to me that plays in a lot to everything that's going on. Oh, hey, there's Yvonne Live for Love. Yeah, but I mentioned you earlier without saying your name because we were talking about Natalie Sharilla's accent. And I said that it sounded Canadian to me, even though she says she's from Ohio. And even though I love Canadians and normally never ever make fun of that accent, I can't help it with Natalie Sharilla because she's annoying. And I said, some of our Canadian friends are not in here yet because they sleep a little later than this. I was thinking of you, Ivona. Glad to see you in. I'm happy you made it up in time to be in here. Stacia 001 says, "Oh, that's interesting. I thought he was rolling in cash." See, that's the impression that everyone's getting from a lot of different directions. And it just like it's not appearing that way. He has a car with no AC. Even if you don't get a new car, like you can get an AC fixed is expensive for people who are living paycheck to paycheck because I've been there and I went without AC in the past. But for someone who is showing stacks on their Instagram and we're being told that he came from money and he made so much money he would never need to deal. He made his money through crypto and a clothing line. Like that's not what we're seeing represented at all here. But we got 2 more years to read before the crash so it could change. Yeah, I was talking about you, Vona. Pippa does. Thank you, Kathleen. Today is one of my doctor days, waste of half a day. Yeah, after this, I got to go do my allergy shot and then see how I feel after that, see how the rest of the day goes. Hey, Sonia Stranger, good to have you in here. Okay, let me switch back here. So, yeah, Mackenzie's saying that they have another friend whose car has AC, and he says when he gets his license soon that he'll go places with them and drive. Dom doesn't seem to like that too much. I don't know. It's a little weird. Because Dom says, "Oh, Tyler said he would. Tyler is like a little cupcake." Okay. And Mackenzie says, "Yeah, he swipes up and said he'd be cool down to come with us. LOL." But then Dom says, "For real though, I could just hug him. He's always nice as fuck." So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was some sort of inside joke, little cupcake. It sounded like he was really insulting him, but then he turns around and talks about wanting to hug him and how nice he is. So, I I have no idea. No idea. JK says, I think he comes from money, but was at the age where his parents weren't going to just give it to him willy nilly. Coming from a wealthy fam probably made him chase the money more. And see, and that's a good possibility. But, and I hate to even say this because I support his family. Some of his family are saying Dom absolutely did not deal. He would never deal. He had no reason to deal because he came from money and his family had money to help him and stuff. The narrative that you just put out right there, JK, would make total sense. And if his family said that, that would be consistent with the text messages we're seeing here, but that's doesn't appear to be what they're saying. But yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, Amos Hi-Fi, good to see you in here. Amos says, had a rant late, had a notification, but the kid is on VR talking to random people, and maybe I'm a helicopter mom. Just been told, Mom, you ruined everything. I don't blame you, Amos. You take care of that child for sure. Hey, Maria's Only Hens, good to see you in here. Maria's Only Hens. Her channel is exactly what you see there. Only hens, mainly little rabbits and other stuff too. Love seeing that in the flower. Yeah, that's why I was kind of making a point of saying that because that's causing people to feel that the family's words about Dom are discredited. And I don't think they totally are. His sister has said she doesn't want to read Dom's text messages because she feels that would be an invasion of privacy. And I understand her feeling that way. At the same time, if she doesn't, then she might be misinformed about some things like his dealing and putting out a narrative that causes her to seem discredited. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's kind of a sad anomaly there. But like I said, one of the reasons why I want to read all of them is those of us who are interested in this, like we can feel like we have a good rounded knowledge of the full truth of their relationship as far as we can know it from the documents available. You know what I mean? That gives us a lot of context and foundation for analyzing statements made by everybody involved in this, from Mackenzie to her parents to the other families too. Sometimes the other families might be completely in the right and just not know everything, and it doesn't need to take away from their cause. I believe in Dom and Davion's law, and I hope that that gets passed. Absolutely. Right, definitely, Yvonne. I do too. Okay, let me switch back here because he says, that's funny AF, right? He's always been the nicest one. Tyler will always be a homie. Did Jared find any other pools? Dom says, I don't think so. Mackenzie says, want to just go to Hinkley Lake? It's close. Dom says, what's there? I don't know what that looks like. Mackenzie says, look it up. Their cliff jumping spot. It looks nice. I've never been there. My mom said it's close though. What do you think about it? Dom says, I don't see cliff jumping. I see a waterfall. Mackenzie says, Whips Ledges is the same area as Hinkley Lake. It's a part of it. Dom says, Whips is hella rocks. Where would we cliff jump? Mackenzie says, yeah, I think so. Look it up. Want to go? Dom sent the same message again. Whips is hella rocks. Where would we cliff jump? Mackenzie says, you just asked me, and I said, yeah, I think so. I think there's only one place, but mostly cliffs and caves. Dom says, where? Mackenzie says, at Whips Ledges. Dom says, where at Whips Ledges? It's huge. Have you ever been there? Mackenzie says, no, I haven't. LOL. I looked at pics on Google's though. We should go. Dom says, no, we not going. I'm cool on doing anything. Mackenzie says, what the fuck? Why did you just change your mind? That's for real so annoying. Dom says, because you made me mad and you don't know what you're talking about. Mackenzie says, I do know what the fuck I'm talking about, Dom. Shake my effing head. Dom says, so I'm not about to drive to Whips to sweat my ass off on some rocks. Mackenzie says, there's water there. We can swim. Mackenzie says, Dom says, I said, where would we jump cliffs? Whips is hella rocks. And you just said, yeah, I think so. But yeah, I'm cool. Mackenzie says, if there is no cliff jumping spot, we can go to the lake that's right next to this. This is for real annoying. Dom says, yeah, I am annoyed too. Mackenzie says, "You're annoyed for no reason. I'm just trying to swim on a hot ass day. And you're here telling me I don't know what I'm talking about and being rude. Like, if there's no cliff jumping spot, we could easily just go to the lake that's 4 seconds away. And if you don't want to drive, my mom can take us." Dom says, "Nah, I'm cool now." Mackenzie says, "Thanks for making a day that could have been fun, not fun. You need to stop getting mad so fast. Today would have been so fun." Dom says, "Okay." Mackenzie says, "What the fuck, Dom? Are you really about to just not do anything with me?" Dom says, "We can chill later." Mackenzie says, "I, but it's not going to be hot out anymore. It's really hot right now, and I really want to swim. But of course, no one wants to effing go. Like these days, everyone would rather just sit on their ass and be lazy AF than go outside. It's so annoying." Dom says, "I want to, but I need to figure out something with my anger." Mackenzie says, "That's good. We can just go another day. When we hang today, though, do you want me to bring some Dippin' Dots?" Dom says, "Yes, we can hang soon." Mackenzie says, "LOL, okay, let me know when. I'm tanning. How soon? Can we hang, babe?" I feel like Dom's setting her up and is about to let her down because he's really pissed. And all of a sudden, he's turning around and being like, "Yes, of course we could hang soon." I almost feel like he's mad and that's the way he's taking it out on her. He's just going to, yeah, set her up and let her down. Let's see. Let's see how it turns out. Dom says, "I don't know, probably in a little." Mackenzie says, "KK." Dom says, "You want to just chill in an hour?" Mackenzie says, "At 6, that's fine." Dom says, "Okay." Mackenzie says, "Babe, could you give Layla a," and then it blinks. She says, "She asked me if I know anyone mobile." Dom says, "Yeah, I can. And you come over now, bring Dippin' Dot." Mackenzie says, "Okay, bet. About to be on my way." Dom says, "Do you have Dippin' Dots? How did you get them?" Mackenzie says, "Whose car?" Dom says, "What?" Mackenzie, and that's the last of their texts for 2 hours. And then 2 hours later, Mackenzie texts Dom and says, "I'm mad as fuck, by the way." And Dom says, "I know." Mackenzie says, "And you still left. Made am so mad I can't even effing get comfortable." Dom says, "Well, I kind of had to. I can be waiting on these little things." Mackenzie says, "Shake my head. You could have called him and told him what to get to. I'm sure Trevor knows." Dom says, "Can't, and I don't know what you mean, but I'll just talk to you about it when I'm home." Mackenzie says, "Aw, you sneaking back over there leaving again?" Dom says, "I thought you'd be inside, but I had to be quick." Mackenzie says, "Mm-hmm." Dom says, "And the fuck you mean sneaking? I took Bartula to the ATM and ran to the house real quick to grab him a bag." Mackenzie says, "Then you're leaving? If I'm sitting out here alone for more than a B, I'm going to flip out." Mackenzie says, or Dom says, "More than a what?" Mackenzie says, "An hour. And I'm already mad as fuck. It's going to be 8:30 soon." Dom says, "Just left ATM." Mackenzie says, "Okay, so are you on the way back? It's 2 minutes to 8:30. Dom says, "We about to do the order." Mackenzie says, "Shake my head. I knew it was going to be like 2 hours. So fun. I'm sitting here alone. Then we chilled." Dom says, "It's only been an hour right now, not even." Mackenzie says, "It was an hour back at 8:30. You said you would be back in an hour. Like, rush. Shake my head. Thanks. Now I'm getting tired. I'm so salt right now." Dom says, "Finishing order right now." Mackenzie says, "That's weird. It takes over 20 minutes to do an order. It usually only takes 5 to 10 minutes, no matter how big it is. And you really don't need to be there when they finish the order. Thanks for making me wait an hour and a half." Shake my head. Dom says, "About to dip in a sec. I said an hour and a half." Mackenzie says, "You said an hour, but we can pretend you said that." Dom said, "I said I'd try for an hour and I really did. I went to my house with Bartula and ATM." Mackenzie says, "I just got my period. Hit me up when you awake." Oops, that goes over into the next day on the 10th. Let me check comments real quick. Rainbow says, "Not me thinking it was drug." Oh, man. Oh, the Dippin' Dots. Yeah, Dippin' Dots is a type of ice cream. JK says, "Drug dealer time." Kathleen says, "My daughter worked in a Dots place in college, slinging them Dippin' Dots." Ruth Carroll said he certainly did enjoy jerking her back and forth. Operative word did. Yeah, sadly, he was trapped. So trapped. Maria's only hint says, "How does she even get him to be her boyfriend?" I honestly get the impression that they might have done something, sexual once, and then ever after that, he was under threat of being outed. Well, I mean, yeah, at least once he turned 18, because she was 15, and he was being careful in the text messages because she was like, "Why are you telling people we don't F?" And he's like, "We don't. I'm 18, and she's 15." So I think, once it was done, then she knew about him dealing. And once he was 18 and she was 15, like she had multiple threats on him and he was afraid of going to jail. I think that's the only reason he stayed, honestly. And sadly, that it ended up, kind of stealing all of his time. Crazy, crazy. Okay, let's start the 10th now. Mackenzie at 2:37 a.m. says, I just got my period. And then at 9:52, she says, hit me up when you awake. At 11:11, Dom says, what up? Mackenzie says, babe, what you doing today? It's going to be rainy today. Do you want to hang today? Dom says, maybe. Mackenzie says, okay, let me know, babe. What you doing? Let me come over. Dom says, I'm looking for cars right now. Mackenzie says, still looking at Lexus? Dom says, Lexus, Lincoln, or Chrysler, probably. Mackenzie says, how much are those cars? What's the most expensive? After you do that, can I come over? Dom says, those are all brands, so I couldn't tell you how expensive. The Lexus is going to be the most expensive there. Mackenzie says, oh, okay. Dom says, maybe just chilling right now. My back hurt. Mackenzie says, okay, how your stomach today? Let me know soon, though. Dom says, it's a little better. It's making hella noises, but hasn't been hurting. What you doing right now? Want to FaceTime for a sec? Mackenzie says, yes, FaceTime me. I'm tanning. Are you mad? Dom says, yeah. Mackenzie says, okay, hit me up after you do car shit. I'll talk to you later. What you doing, babe? Dom says, eating. Mackenzie says, do you want to do something at 4? Why the question mark, LMAO? Dom says, like what? Mackenzie says, go to Nelson Ledge or a lake or a beach. I'm just trying to get in some water. Dom says, no. Mackenzie says, you don't want to? Did I do something wrong or are you still mad? Okay, well, me and Maddie might go to Nelson Ledge. Never mind, it's like an hour away. Dom says, I know, that's why I get mad. Mackenzie says, sorry, babe, when you're in a better mood, hit me up if you want to go swimming. Bruh, Bianca threw a whole thing of soda at Gracie and soaked her. Dom says, bruh, Gracie got to work her. Mackenzie says, right? She was walking to work too. Pull up to Rocky River if you want. It's on the down low. Dom says, send pic. Mackenzie says, bring backwood. Dom said, is that Lake Gary? Mackenzie says, yeah, water deep as fuck. Come on, it's fun as fuck. No one's here and hella people smoking weed. Dom says, nah. Mackenzie says, you don't want to come? Dom says, I'm not trying to drive. Mackenzie says, yeah, it's low-key far, but they're like no one there. Dom says, it's too windy to drive highway with my windows down anyway. Mackenzie says, yeah, true. We got to come here soon. Maddie got Dibby on to come. Babe, have you seen him drive? He said he will. Dom says, yeah, I don't know, maybe. Mackenzie says, text him. He can drive you. Dom says, is it warm? Mackenzie says, hot as fuck. Dom says, the water? Mackenzie says, water just a bit cold, but it's hot. It feels really good. I was in deep AF. Dom says, it's deep? What you mean? Mackenzie says, yeah, it's really deep. Have Demi on take you. Are you coming, baby? Dom says, I didn't hit him up. Mackenzie says, why? Babe, come on, try. Dom says, I might go hang with Rich Kyle. Mackenzie says, you really not going to come when you have a ride for you? Dom says, did they leave yet? It's going to rain in an hour or two. I wouldn't get there for a half hour either. Mackenzie says, hit him up. My mom says the rain is probably going to skip over. If it does rain, though, there's a spot of shelter. Dom says, I don't want to hit him up. He probably already left. I'll probably just go chill with Kyle. Mackenzie says, he didn't. Text him, bib. Dom says, are you sure? Mackenzie says, yeah. Dom says, yeah, I don't know. Mackenzie says, sad face, please, BB. Dom says, yeah, I don't know. By the time I got there, it wouldn't really be warm anymore. Mackenzie says, it's hot as fuck. Dom says, I don't even think they're going to hit me up to our re-up. I think I'm about to go chill with Rich Kyle then. Mackenzie says, okay, babe, have fun. Hang later. Dom says, they ain't going, right? Probably not. Dom says, I don't know. Maddie was texting him. Dom says, fuck Maddie. What? Wow. Mackenzie says, why, Bab? Dom says, I don't fuck with y'all lately. Mackenzie says, me? What? Dom. Why the fuck you making me unfollow you? You can't just be doing that shit when you're mad. You tell me to hang out with my friends, and when I do shit like that, like I did nothing, I even invited you. That shit is not cool. If you're not home, be super careful. They're about to be a really bad storm. Bruh, answer. I'm worried about you. That's weird. Dom says, okay, I'm at 2%. Mackenzie says, where are you? Please charge it and read what I said. Dom says, not right now. Mackenzie says, where are you at? Are you with Rich Kyle? Babe, can you please text back not dry as fuck? Dom says, yeah. Mackenzie says, hit me up when you're home. And you still replied dry. You're really upsetting me, but I don't care. Shake my head, Dom. Wow, you really gonna go on D&D?
Girlfriend, what the hell? Because they're chaotic evil, they would say that.
I got us a new D&D clip of Patton Oswalt. In case we happen to have anyone new in the chat, every time they would say that, myself and most everyone thought for the longest time they were talking about Dungeons and Dragons. Turns out it was Do Not Disturb. Yes, this is the one.
Dungeons and Dragons. I live in a world of cold steel.
We got Patton Oswalt from Reno 911. He lives in a world of cold steel. Oh, man. We got Artist Life in here. Hey, Artist Life. Thanks for popping in. Stisha001 says, do y'all watch Ryan Real Reactions? Not Doofus, Ryan Anderson, the real one. He has like .com merch, something like that merch. Oh, cool. I'll have to check it out. That's funny. Rainbow says, Rich Kyle, LOL. Oh, man. Yeah, I hope you're doing good too, Art. Pippadot says, article General Motors. That's a little auto crap problem there. We end up saying all kinds of things in the chat because of autocorrect. All right, let me switch back over here. Okay, Mackenzie says, wow, you really just got to go on D&D. You're effing rude. I do nothing to you and you act like this. You want me to hang out with my friends, then I finally do, and you do some gay shit like this. Oh, good grief. Honestly, I'm salty AF. You be acting like this for no reason. Dom says, okay. Mackenzie says, what the fuck? You just gonna say okay? Like, what the fuck did I do? You just get mad over some dumbass shit and take it out on me. Like, why do you think that's okay? You couldn't even text me back when I told you I was worried about you. You can go hang with all your friends and it be nice to them, but when it comes to me, you just have to be disrespectful as fuck. How do you think it makes me feel when you're mean as fuck all day? Dom says, okay, I'm done. Mackenzie says, done with what? Done with being a D for no reason? Like, apologize to me. I did nothing. Or are you going home? This is effed up, honestly. Don't take it out on me. I did nothing. If anything, you know I'm going to try and fix you being mad. You've been mad for like 2 days and you've just been taking it out on me, and it does not make me happy. Like, I try to hang and then I get blocked and hated on all day. Dom says, yeah, I didn't block you. Mackenzie says, yeah, to what? Then what happened on Insta? Why am I not following you? I was following you before. Dom says, it's cool. I'm sorry. Mackenzie says, are you on the way home? And it's really not cool, and it really upset me, but I'll forgive you. And of course, you still on D&D.
Girlfriend, what the hell? Because they're chaotic evil, they would say that.
Dom says, no, I'll be here for a bit. You didn't go to my house, right? Mackenzie says, wow. Now I'm mad AF. Dom says, how you know I wasn't home? Mackenzie says, because you told me you're going to hang with weird Kyle, bruh. You think I'm going to sit at your house while you're being a D to me all day? And when I finally get to hang with one of my friends, like WTF, I do not get it. All you effing care about is what you're doing and like how you feel. Holy shit. Dom says, okay. Mackenzie says, I love when you were just mean to me all day. And when I finally hang with one of my friends, thanks, Dom. You could have just made it better. But of course, you have to say something like that. The one day when I finally hang with a friend, you have to do this shit and make me flip out. Dom says, what do you mean? What did I say? Mackenzie says, of course, you don't even know what you said. Like you said, sorry, and then another disrespectful ass thing. You don't even care what you did today, and it hurt me. All day, I was just like trying to be with you, and you get mad and take your anger out on me when I'm just trying to see you. Dom says, okay, I won't do that. Just leave me alone for a while. Poor guy. Mackenzie says, well, you already did. And I always leave you the fuck alone when you're with your friends. I don't when you go on D&D and reply dry as fuck.
Girlfriend, what the heck? Because they're chaotic evil, they would say that.
You go on D&D, reply dry as fuck, or take 3 hours to answer. Like if you just answer at a normal time and reply with something more than okay, I won't be annoyed. It's not too much for ask for. It's just how normal people text. Dom says, okay. Mackenzie says, and you do it again. Dom said, what else do I say? Mackenzie says, okay, I'm sorry. I'll get off D&D and try to reply faster.
Dungeons and Dragons. I live in a world of cold steel.
It's not that hard, Dom. I just told you to not reply dry. Dom says, okay. Mackenzie says, reply with something more than okay. Dom says, that's for shorter. Mackenzie says, OMG, I'm done with this shit. I swear you try to hurt me. Go have effing fun with that R word. You're fucking rude. I swear I tell you how you can fix it and you just make it 30 times worse. Dom says, look, it'll be better soon. Mackenzie says, actually, that's not how it works. But Dom says, but yeah, I'll talk to you later. I'm sorry. Mackenzie says, yeah, okay. You still on D&D probably too.
Girlfriend, what the heck? Because they're chaotic evil, they would say that.
Dom says, I am done doing things for the night. Mackenzie says, done being what? Being mean to me for no reason? Dom says, no, doing everything. Mackenzie says, so you leaving the old Kyle's house? Dom says, what? No, I don't know. Mackenzie says, if you done with everything, are you leaving? Dom says, not right now. He on the phone with all his people. Mackenzie says, you can't just tell me we done talking, by the way. I'm still going to be hurt. Saying that only makes things worse. He's weird AF. Dom says, he doing his work pretty much. Mackenzie says, then why are you there if he's working? I do not like that guy at all. He's sus and weird AF. Oh, he's about to be her new Carl, y'all. Mackenzie says, and I don't know if it's just your attitude today or you being with Kyle is making you mean. And of course, you leave me on red. LMAU. You can't catch a break. You just keep doing the shit that makes me upset. Dom says, because I want to VSN, just chill. Mackenzie says, question mark? I don't know what VSN means. Dom says, can. Mackenzie says, you could just chill when you're being mean AF to your babe for no reason. That's not good. And you still on D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons. I live in a world of cold steel.
Holy shit. Like you say sorry, then just do the same shit. Sorry isn't even going to mean anything. You're making me so effing mad. Dom says, I don't want to talk on the phone. Mackenzie says, if you just get off fucking D&D.
Because they're chaotic evil, they would say that.
I lost my place, y'all. Oh, if you just get off fucking D&D, I won't call you. Like you make shit so much more hard. Like I could effing scream right now. I am so effing nice to you and I put up with you getting mad like all the time and you still be doing this shit. You make me look so dumb when you treat me like this. F that Kyle. I hope he moves away and never comes back. What a effing creep. You can show him this too, so I hope he stays the F away. How many times do I have to tell you I'll chill out when you get off D&D?
Dungeons and Dragons. I live in a world of cold steel.
Get off D&D and start answering fast like it's that effing hard. I swear to God, this shit makes me so mad. I can't believe you think it's okay to take your anger out on me with, I don't fuck with y'all lately. The one day I hang with my friend. Dom says, I was eating food. Sorry. Mackenzie says, you're not even there. Are you effing kidding me? You really lied to me. Dom says, what you mean? Mackenzie says, where are you? Tell me right now. I know you weren't at Kyle's house. I know you're not there. Dom says, I went home. I just got here like 10 minutes ago, maybe less. Mackenzie says, then why Vinny tell me you weren't there? Dom says, I ate a little fast food because I wasn't. I left. Mackenzie says, oh, so you never went to Kyle's house? Dom says, no, I was there. Then I left. Mackenzie says, then why Vinny tell me you were never there, Dom? I'm so mad right now. This effing sucks. The whole day I just had to feel like it was my fault when I did effing nothing. Dom says, hold up, really? Mackenzie says, he said you weren't. Dom says, no, you must have misread it. Mackenzie says, he said you were there. He said he left before you. Dom says, oh, okay. Mackenzie says, I was trying to get that creep's phone number. Dom says, no, done. You should meet him. He's nice. Mackenzie says, yeah, I didn't know about that. Let me come over. Dom says, no, not tonight. Mackenzie says, did Kyle come back to cuddle or something? Dom says, yes. Mackenzie says, yeah, I'm not meeting him. If I see him, I'm going to lunch the fuck out of him. And F-time me. Punch. Dom says, LMAO, no, he's pretty cool. Mackenzie says, well, when you're mean to me the whole time you're there, it makes me think he's the one making you mean. If he's so nice, then why was I getting treated so badly by you? And I said, FaceTime me. I'm for real going to flip out. D&D still?
Dungeons and Dragons. I live in a world of cold steel.
She is hard as life. Oh my God. Like they go back and forth. They're honestly both exhausting, but I get the feeling that Dom would be less exhausting if he wasn't reacting to Kenzie all the time. You know, he begs for space and can never get even a bit. Even a bit. Oh, I hate that. Pippadot. I have had an ear cracking from my allergies. Yeah. Stacia says, every time you say unread, I hear red for a split second. I'm like, what? Oh, man. Her grammar hurts my ears, Stacia says, right? Oh, my God. Tempered Iron says, cold steel. Stacia says, still cracks me up how we thought, dang, he plays that game too much. Oh yeah, we all thought it was strange that he was on Dungeons and Dragons, like playing the game, but yeah. Oh man, Irreverent Elizabeth says Mackenzie lives in a world of cold steel. And because she is chaotic evil, she would say that. Hey, Kung Fu Panda. Oh, it might be. It might be. Yeah, she's worried that, you know, some pretty little man's gonna come along and take Dom. That's why she constantly uses gay as an insult. Oh, I mean, we know she's insecure about every single thing in their relationship. I can imagine she's probably insecure about his sexuality too. She just seems like a person who can't be secure. Oh man, JK says, I live in a world of cold steel is my new vocal stim, and my husband is very confused. That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, I walk around saying it to mine too, but fortunately he understands. Oh man. Okay, let me switch back over here. Dom says, no, I wasn't. Mackenzie says, like, for real? Don't effing lie, Dom. You literally told me you don't fuck with me lately. Like, what the F you mean? The one day I hang out with my friend, you don't fuck with me. I can literally go up and screenshot you saying that to me. Nice, leaving me on red. Just as you, are you just trying to make things worse like you are being so dumb? Dom says, I didn't even try to leave you on red. Look, let's just talk tomorrow. It'll be cool. Mackenzie says, it's not cool though. You were pretty much ignoring me all day. Like it really makes my days stressful and hard. You can't even get off D&D for me or FaceTime me. I'll forgive you when I see change. It's important that I get treated right, Dom. I don't ask for a lot. I literally let you keep me unadded on Snap. Dom says, no, I wasn't. Only when I was doing shit. Mackenzie says, you never told me you were doing shit though. FaceTime me. I don't know why I have to type it 30 times for you to acknowledge that I asked you to FaceTime me. OMFG, I'm for real gonna freak out. This shit makes me want to punch myself in the effing face. If you don't FaceTime me, you don't care. Thanks, Dom. You answer so fast. Dom says, I'm talking to Angelo. Then I was gonna go to bed. Why? It's cool. Dom said, or Mackenzie says, you can't FaceTime me before bed? You say it's cool. You can't say it's cool because nothing happens to you. I was the one that had to sit there and take you being mean to me all day. Like the one day I hang out with my friend, shit makes me really upset. Dom says, I will. Mackenzie says, you will FaceTime me before you go to bed? Dom says, yeah. Hang out with your friends anymore. I won't. That doesn't make any sense. Hang out with friends anymore. I won't. Mackenzie says, that shit makes me really not want to be with my friends, you know. Like it makes shit really hard. When you're being mean, that's what all my focus goes to. And then I have a bad day. Like, I don't want you to tell me you don't fuck with me. Dom says, okay, I won't. Mackenzie says, when are you going to bed? Don't forget to FaceTime me. Dom says, in a little, gonna chill for a sec, brush my teeth, then I'll go to bed. Mackenzie says, Kay, look at Insta. Can you FaceTime me, Mal? Just FaceTime me. I feel like you're gonna wait till I fall asleep. Dom, oh my God. I swear to God, I'm so mad. Dom says, I think I found the car I'm gonna get. It's in Strongsville, too. Mackenzie says, FaceTime me. You can show me when we FaceTiming. What brand car? FaceTime me, Dom. Oh my God. Dom says, I'm about to in a sec. Mackenzie says, how long do I leave? Oh, then that's the end of their messages on the 10th, and they go to the 11th. Let me switch back and check comments real quick. Rainbow Ribbon says she doesn't ask for a lot. Yeah, she is so unself-aware. Like, it is bad, bad. Kung Fu Panda says cold steel and jealousy fueled. Right? Rainbow Ribbon says the model girlfriend. Oh, yeah, she tells him all the time. She's like, Dom, you have the perfect girlfriend. Dom, Dom, Dom. I swear to God, I'm so fucking mad. Pippadot says, I don't ask for a lot, only dabs and to hang every 30 minutes with her babs. Ruth Carroll says, remember when Dr. Filth used to send Oh, I don't know about that. That's not something I've seen. Kung Fu Panda says, she only wants your soul. What is the problem, Babs? Right? Rainbow Ribbon says, Bruce, remind me not to get on your bad side, right? Pippadot says, oh yes, Rainbow, can't forget the most important things. Yeah, the designer clothes. Dom says he's getting a car. The first question is not, oh, you're finally going to have AC. It's what brand is it? And when he asked her to pick him out some shoes, she sent him shoes that cost $13,000, y'all. $13,000. Hell yeah, Maria's Only Hens. You know how we roll here. Nerd style. Arda's life says she doesn't ask for much, only every second of every minute of your life, every bit. She wants it all. Okay, let's see how they do on the 11th. Let's take a little wager. Are they going to have the same fight by the end of the 11th, friends? 1 in the chat means yes, they're going to have the same fight. 2 in the chat means no. I think they're going to have a normal, like not a normal day, but like a normal day for normal people. They're going to have a no fight day. 1 means fight, 2 means no fight. Let's see what we think. I mean, I think we're all pretty sure they're just going to fight again like usual, but let's see what we get. Okay. On the 11th at 11:24 a.m., Mackenzie texts, how long do I leave it in? Dom says, how soaked is it? Mackenzie says, FaceTime me and I'll show you. Like, not dripping, but it looks wet. Dom says, keep it in for an hour probably. You don't need that much time. Mackenzie says, oh, okay, I'll wear it till 12:10. Mackenzie says, then do you want to hang at 1? When are you going to check that Jag out? You must be looking at a Jaguar. Dom says, dude hasn't answered yet. Mackenzie says, oh, I'm really happy for you, by the way. It makes me happy AF seeing you find a car you like so close. Babe, answer ASAP. Are my glasses at your house? I'm about to freak out. And do I wash my hair with soap and conditioner? I'm in the shower. Answer. Why on earth does she have to ask him that? That's weird. Weird. Okay, anyway. Dom says, wash it with soap, but only your roots. What the hell are they doing? Okay. Mackenzie says, babe, Insta. I might just do the Little Boat and Little Perry one. Dom says, no, do a different song. That's my song. Mackenzie says, or pull up Living Life Like a Rock Star. It's in Trap Star. Dom says, just do a Little Skies or Trippy Reft lyric. Or Tay-K. Mackenzie says, I found a good Tay-K one too. Sometimes I be so damn high, I don't know what to say. What's better, the Trippy one or the Tay-K one? Beb, what one? Dom says, I don't know, just don't copy the Little Boat one. I'll probably use that. Mackenzie says, LMAO, baby, I'm not going to use that one. Trippy or that I? Tay. Dom says, Trippy, because you can probably find a good one. Mackenzie says, pulled up, living life like a rock star. Dom says, whatever you want, babe. Mackenzie says, I'm going to find more. Do you want Charlie's subs when I leave the mall? Dom says, yes. Mackenzie says, okay, bet. I do too. I'm hanging with Lincoln. Dom says, I know. Mackenzie says, hit me up when you're free, BB. Dom says, okay. Mackenzie says, what y'all doing? Lincoln has to leave now, so I'm home again. Shake my head, LOL. Dom says, did you get subs? Mackenzie says, I'm gonna go back before I come over. Dom says, oh, you're okay. They making fish next door, I think. Mackenzie says, what kind? I never really eat fish that much. Also, you unadded her, right? Dom says, yeah. Mackenzie says, what fish y'all making, or do you still want Charlie's? Babe, if you don't let me in, if you don't get in, let me come over, baby. I miss you. Dom says, okay, baby. Mackenzie says, when you go in there, you got to tell me if you get in. Dom says, they talking about it. I'll let you know. Mackenzie says, okay. Dom says, I'm just excited for the Jag. The dude answers. Mackenzie says, no way. What did he say? Bruh, guess what happened? I was literally just sitting here listening to music, and this lady was like trying to hide and record me, like WTF. Oh shit, y'all. That was the end of their messages on the 11th, and there was not a fight. Everyone did ones because, like I said, we all assumed there was going to be a fight. Crap, I was going to do a little giveaway if anyone did 2 to win. Auntie Sassa Wednesday. Hey, glad to see you in here. Thanks for popping in the chat. I appreciate that. Shorty Pie says maybe she had her hair braided. That could be. Pippadot says she's always leaving things at his house. Yeah, for an excuse. Kung Fu says Jaguar, good God. Yeah, like Dom is clearly trying to have a certain look here, which I get. Like, I've bought expensive cars on the cheap because they're old. But when you do that, you need to be in a position where you're able to afford the maintenance because, you can buy them outright for really cheap and they go along just fine. But when they suddenly have a problem on cars like that, if you're living in America, at least, it's really, really expensive to have them worked on. So Dom is living, he recently had $312 in his account. He's dealing for cash. Him and Mackenzie are always talking about, things being too much money or whatever. Yeah, he really has no business buying a Jaguar. Just saying, like, people are allowed to do whatever they want with their own money, you know what I mean? But like I said, I've done that myself. I've bought nice cars that are old for cheap, but it was whenever, we got to a position where we could afford the maintenance on them. Yeah. Upkeep, Stacia says. Exactly. You better be a mechanic. Artist Life says, could I change mine to a 2? Yeah, we all just assumed. I thought it was going to be a fight day 2, and I was going to draw between everyone's 1, but yeah, it actually turned. Okay, so let's do a guess again. I can't see I can't see the same fight happening yet on the 12th. Looks like they're okay. So what do we think is going to happen on the 12th? 1 in the chat if they're if it's going to be, same shit, different day, if they're going to have their fight. 2 if it's going to be a no fight today. And I will start reading. Okay, at 1:43 a.m. on the 12th, Mackenzie says, good night, babe. At 1:51, Dom says, good night, babe. You still up? Mackenzie says, yes. Dom says, we got to make them mozzarella sticks tomorrow. Mackenzie says, OMG, yes. Dom says, I'm checking out the Jag tomorrow around 6. Mackenzie says, AM? Bruh, why does no one in my house know to not let the dogs bark at 8 a.m.? Dom says, you can't stop them. Mackenzie says, I just yelled, shut up, it doesn't work. Dom says, I think you should take those plants outside. Mackenzie says, want me to bring them to your house? My big one's starting to reek. I have them outside right now. I'm scared they're going to fall or break. Dom says, yeah, we can take them here. Mackenzie says, okay, I'm going to bring them to your house. I want to keep one, though, the smallest one. Dom says, okay, keep them coming. LOL. Mackenzie says, LMFAO. I need to get more seeds started. Also, want to hang early today? And do you think anyone will notice if I wear the same thing I wore yesterday? LMFAO. Dom says, if no one's seen you, who cares? And yeah, I'll let you know when we can hang. Mackenzie says, LMAO, I was at the mall and Blake and Mar seen me. I'ma just wear it. It was so cute. I want you to see it. Dom says, okay, Topher coming home today, and I am not excited. Mackenzie says, oh God, well, hopefully he's a little better. Dom says, he's been thinking he's dying lately, and I think it's straight bullshit. Mackenzie says, are you for real? Is that why he cries? Dom says, he cries for no reason. He honestly do everything for no reason. I think he told Angelo he does that so everyone has to take care of him. Mackenzie says, WTF? Well, if they letting him leave, he's probably a little better. Dom says, I don't know if he being weird or R-worded. Still, I'm not going to put up with it. Mackenzie says, yeah, I agree with you. I just hope it's better than before. Dom says, if he not acting at this point, he probably just deserves it. Then if God would do him like that. Good Lord. Does Dom feel like he deserves his mental illness? Fuck's sake. Oh my Lord. What the hell? Mackenzie says, yeah, I don't know, babe. What you doing? FaceTime? Dom says, you want to come over and bring the plants? Mackenzie says, yeah, I'll be there in 10. Dom says, okay, how many you got? Mackenzie says, 3. I'm bringing 2. I want to keep one. Dom says, we need more. Mackenzie says, I'm working on it, LMFAO. 4 more are about to be coming in a couple weeks. Can you scoop? If not, I'll walk. But she's gonna skateboard with marijuana plants in hand out in the open. Like, what on earth? Mackenzie says, babe, please answer. Where are you at? Can I come in there? He must have got her or something because they went from 12:32 with babe, please answer to 17:26. So about 5:30 with where you at? Can I come in there? Dom says, I forgot the Pop-Tart. 1 sec. Mackenzie says, okay, BB, what's going on? Dom says, I got the car. Mackenzie says, what? Dom says, waiting on him to give me the plates. Mackenzie says, OMG. Dom says, I mean, take his plates. I don't have plates. Mackenzie says, holy shit. Dom says, but yeah, we in this bitch. Mackenzie says, is everything good with it? Did you drive it? Dom says, yes, sir. Scotty drove it, actually. He says it's good. I'm about to drive it. Mackenzie says, this is going to be rah. Dom says, I know. Mackenzie says, we're going to boot it. Dom says, it's going to smell like straight bag. Mackenzie says, music that doesn't cut out. True. Do you have Carpi pizza? My mom asked. Never mind. When you coming back? And that is the end of the 12th. The 12th was another day with no fight. So who says 2? Sonia Stranger said 2. Auntie Sassa Wednesday said 2. Okay, I'm going to have to draw between them 2. 2 straight days in a row with no fight. I'm shocked. Oh, wait, what's Robot Millennial? What happened? You'll have to let me know, Rainbow. I might have missed something. And Staples says, I didn't grow this year, but last year I grew some dwarf plants. They were only about 18 inches tall. It was awesome. No worries about the wrong people seeing them. Highly recommend. You know, I did some growing because whenever I first got my medical license in Oklahoma, your medical license allows you to have 8 seedlings and 8 mature plants. And oh, Rainbow Ribbon says you cracked up all robotic for a minute. Whoops. Oops, Rainbow Ribbon says 2. I missed it. Okay, so I got 3 people to draw from there. So let me do the wheel real quick. It's taking just a second here. Deer love plants, Ruth Carroll says. Oh man, yeah. The deer are eating everything for me. Yeah, I was shocked at how hard it is to grow weed that doesn't look like the 1970s weed. Kung Fu says that's some cold steel. Okay, so I got Sonia Stranger. then it was Aunt Sassa and rainbow ribbons. And spin. Rainbow ribbons. Let me take a screenshot of that real quick. Awesome. And what I plan to give away, I kind of did it without even telling you. I guess I should make sure that Rainbow Ribbons actually wants this. I'll post a picture of it. I have a bracelet that I bought at CrimeCon that was made by trafficking victims. They make bracelets and sell them. And yeah, I'm going to, I thought that would be a fun giveaway. So yeah, I'll post a picture along with a screenshot later of Rainbow Ribbons winning it. And then if you can email me Rainbow Ribbons, I'll put my email in the chat again. Hopefully you don't have any trouble with the emails. People do sometimes. And like I said, as long as you're comfortable, just send me your address and I will get that in the mail to you. Yay, we had our little giveaway here. Thank you so much, Ivona. Rainbow Ribbon says, justice for millennials, keyboard, stop keyboard abuse. Yeah, I'm a very aggressive typer. Oh, I send things off to Europe. I have trouble with it sometimes. I sent Art is Life a book in Glasgow, Scotland, and it got all the way there, and I missed a number in her address, and it came all the way back to me. I gotta send it again. Oh man. Okay, let me switch back here. Now that I've done the giveaway, I won't do our little bet on the 13th, but I'm going to read the 13th and then probably be done for the day. We'll see how long the 13th goes on, how we feel after that. Let me turn on the Be Right Back screen real quick. Oh, it's funny. My husband says the aggressive ASMR isn't any different in person. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me turn on my Be Right Back. Let me go get another drink of water. Be right back, friends. Okay, I am back. Thank you, Ivona. Shorty Pie says, I bet there's fighting on the 13th. Kung Fu says, I love the angry typing. Yeah, we don't want to do the cold steel anger. Ivona says, the reason they didn't fight is because Dom was not telling her she can't come over. Exactly. For real, for real. Kathleen says, you are right there. Hey, Highland girl. Good to see you. Okay. Let me switch back to the messages and let's see how the 13th goes. Okay. So at 11:09 in the morning, Mackenzie says, I had a weird ass dream you were in it. It was like Fortnite. I don't know why. You were not on my team, though. I don't remember who was, to be honest. My cramp's really bad. Dom says, I'll be on your team next time. Mackenzie says, I hope. Dom says, I'm sorry, babe. Just try to drink water and relax. Cramps is not enough water in the muscles. I know from playing basketball. Mackenzie says, I'll get some lemon water soon. Dom says, get it right now. And when you get the cardboard planners, Mackenzie says, when you get the cardboard planners, bring them to me because I need to move the seeds into dirt soon. And I'm on the potty, babe. Dom says, okay, I know Bartula is being a bitch about it because Trevor grandma home and Trevor ain't there. I'm trying to go get them. Mackenzie says, oh, let me check what time they will be here. 12 to 7:30 is when the packages are coming. Bruh, I accidentally left the plant outside all night and it effing rained. Dom says, is it okay? Mackenzie says, yeah, it looks fine. I'm just worried. Babe, I need you to answer FaceTime. Nice. You so cute. Dom says, thank you, baby. Sorry my phone died earlier. Mackenzie says, it's okay, babe. I'm protesting. It's so fun. There's hella racist. Bruh, I just seen Audrey. I flicked her and her mom off. Oh my God. So Mackenzie is out protesting in 2020. I assume she's protesting for Black Lives Matter. When we see her using the N word all the time, calling people gay as a slur, like, what? You know, but she's enjoying protesting. Okay. Dom says, LMAO. Mackenzie says, bruh, I seen Amory too. Dom says, where are you? Mackenzie says, I left. I was at Town Square. Dom says, what's that? Mackenzie says, in front of police station. Dom says, oh, okay. Mackenzie says, what are you doing? Do you want to hang soon? Dom says, I probably have to do some shit. Then yes. Mackenzie says, okay, babe, tell me when. Dom says, okay, babe, maybe I can pick you up, but I'm not going to want to try to get in the driveway because I got to run to Javier. Mackenzie says, that's fine. I'm about to get some snacks. Then let me know when you're trying to scoot. Dom says, okay. Mackenzie says, hang soon. Babe. Dom. Dom says, yeah, my phone died again. Super busy. Mackenzie says, how soon? Dom says, I don't know. Let me get more stuff done real quick. Mackenzie says, what's going on now? Where are you at? And that's the last of their texts on the 13th. It appears, Dom's just giving in and hanging out with her basically almost every day. And so they're not having the fight, Exactly, art is life. Mothership says, bet. Oh, Mothership has, as you all know, she is more on the Kenzie is innocent side, and she just did an interview with Bubba, also known as Landon from the Crash. That's up on her channel. I found it really interesting myself. Very interesting. Kung Fu Panda says she's marching in pride and BLM. What in the oppositional defiance disorder? Exactly. Yeah. Amos Hi-Fi says 3 whole days of no fights. What weed is Dom getting a hold of, right? Yeah. Okay, let me switch back to messages because we are now on to the 14th, and there's just a few on the 14th. Dom's the first one to text, and it's at 6:27 a.m. He says, babe, when you're up, hit me up. We got to get shit done today. Mackenzie says, I'm up. Hi, babe. Dom says, hi, babe. Come over. Mackenzie says, okay, give me 10. I'm replanting seeds. I'm about to come soon. Dom says, yeah, come before I get up. Mackenzie says, okay, should I take out the braids? On my way. Dom says, bet. Mackenzie says, your mom kicked Morgan out. And that's the end of their text on the 14th. Does anyone know who Morgan is? Morgan, a girl or a boy or what? Oh, that's exciting. Mothership Lulu says, I'm getting part 2 up to date. Awesome. Awesome. Ruth Carroll says, I believe Bubba. Cool. Amos says, fight for show. Exactly. Yep, bracelet from CrimeCon. Mothership Explorers says, Amos Hi-Fi, it's Blueberry. I learned that, please. I don't know what that means, but that's okay. Sometimes extra convos get to going on in the chat and I click on a random comment and I'm a little lost, but I love that though. Our chat is the best here. Like, we have the chillest chat. 1970 initially, like he first started his entire 1970 channel before he wanted to do, lifting channel and switched up to tempered iron. But the only reason he started that was so he could moderate my chats for me, and we've never needed it. We've never needed any moderating. Yep, exactly. Okay, that was all on the 14th. If anyone knows who Morgan is, drop it in the chat. I'm very curious. Okay, so the 15th at 9:11 a.m., Mackenzie says, "Morning, babe. I'm wearing your hoodie and it smells like you." Dom says, "Aw, cutie." Mackenzie says, "What you doing today, babe?" Dom says, "Not sure." Mackenzie says, "I worked out for so long." Dom says, "LMAO, you only need to for like half an hour. Go finish the book now, babe." Mackenzie says, "I'm watching a movie. It's a good movie." Dom says, "What movie?" Mackenzie says, "It's called The Helps. It's so good. Do you want to chill today?" The Help is a great movie. I agree with her on that. Dom says, "Maybe. Depends on what I have to do." Mackenzie says, "I'm out of dabs, babe." Dom says, "Okay." Mackenzie says, "What you doing?" Dom says, "Chilling with Sheen and then Trevor coming to do the fencing." Mackenzie says, "Oh, I thought me and you were going to do that." Dom says, "Do what?" "Trevor is going to do it. He been supposed to do it." Mackenzie says, "Oh, okay. What you doing right now, baby? You need to text me back more, babe. You've been low-key distant today." Dom says, "I was showing Trevor a YouTube video. We can hang later, babe. I've been busy." Mackenzie says, "Okay, babe. Did you and Trevor get the fence up?" Dom says, "Yeah." Mackenzie says, "Okay, good." Dom says, "Just need zip ties." Mackenzie says, "Is it just you and Trevor?" "I don't know where to get the zip ties." Dom says, "No, Sheen and Bartula." Mackenzie says, "Okay, hit me up when they leave. Have fun, babe." "What you doing?" Babe texts back. Dom says, "We playing basketball." Mackenzie says, "Okay, when are they leaving?" Dom says, "We are going to play another game." Mackenzie says, "Then they leaving?" Dom says, "I don't know." Mackenzie says, "Okay, I'll talk to you later. I miss you." Dom says, "We chill tonight or tomorrow. Sorry, babe. Angelo got so pissed that we won." Mackenzie says, "Oh God, who was on your team?" And "Okay, baby." Dom says, "Me, Sheen, Bartula versus Angelo, Trev, and Trevor." Mackenzie says, "LMFAO, are y'all still chilling?" Dom says, "Yeah." Mackenzie says, "Let's just chill early tomorrow. I got some clothes today. Or if I'm up and you're free before 11, we can hang for a little." Dom says, "What you get, send me pics of you in them." Mackenzie says, "I will in a bit. I don't feel that good because of my period." Dom says, "And yeah, I might be home by 11. We all went to Trevor's to smoke real quick. Oh, I'm sorry, babe." Mackenzie says, "I hope you are home by 11. I'm going to send you pics soon, though. I got some cute ass shit." Dom says, "Okay, bet." Mackenzie says, "Okay, babe. I sent you pics. There's a little surprise at the end, by the way. You going to be home before 11? Dom says, "Probably not. We can probably chill tomorrow. I have to chill with Kyle at one point, though. I don't think you can come." Mackenzie says, "Oh, why couldn't I come? And just hit me up early tomorrow then. You can leave and chill with Kyle for however long." Dom says, "Okay." Mackenzie says, "Not too long because I still want to see you." "What you guys doing?" Dom says, "Just chilling. I think I might go home soon." Mackenzie says, "We can hang if you drive me home, LOL." Dom says, "I'm trying to go to bed soon." Mackenzie says, "Oh, okay. Then tomorrow early would be fine too." Dom says, "I'll let you know." And then they go to the next day. So we kind of had another day with no fight. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is multiple days ever since Dom got himself that Jaguar. Oh, yeah. Rainbow, she constantly says, "Well, I let you do this. I let you unadd me on Snapchat. I let you chill with your friends." It's like, wholly unhealthy perspective, Mackenzie. Then again, she's 15. I give her some grace on that. But yeah, she's not good, not good. Amos Hi-Fi says, "But he's going without her. Shit about to go down." Kung Fu says, "Wow, this is different." Artist Life says, "Oh, cue the fight." Mothership says, "I'm more of a Geritol, one a day." In regard to the weed combo, I believe. Highland Girl says, wonder if he means Big Sheen. Oh, man. Shorty Pie says, no dabs equals argument. Bet. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Blueberry is high end. I'm not knowledgeable on the topic. I mean, I've seen a lot of different strains named blueberry this or that. And yeah, I mean, pretty much anything dispensary is pretty high end. Rainbow Ribbon says, gracious queen that she is. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see how the next day is. Oh, the 16th is just a few. It's going to be another no fight day because at 9:24, Mackenzie says, morning, babe. 11:52, Dom says, can you look for my other phone? Mackenzie says, where would it be? I'm looking now. Dom says, then plug it in. Mackenzie says, where was the last place you had it? Never mind. And then we go to the 17th, and it looks like the 17th might be more of the type of day we're accustomed to seeing them have because the texts go on and on. Right, Ruth Carroll? Panda Butt says, puffing my own plants. Can tell you they were messing up those seeds. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, like we haven't heard them speak on getting them to the flower point yet, but Mackenzie's not going to know about males and seeds and females and all that. Like, yeah, girl does not research anything. Okay, so on the 17th, at just after midnight, Mackenzie says, babe, it's cool, but you said we could cuddle a while ago. I have to leave at 1. OMG, check Insta. And Dom says, okay. And then at 9:35, Mackenzie says, morning, babe. I just found out Phil gave me $600 perfume. Also, I'm going to have 10 to 11 plants in a couple of days. So what we doing about that? Dom liked the text about the $600 perfume. Mackenzie says, what you doing today? Dom says, I'm about to go to Kyle to get some shit done. Mackenzie says, okay, if you want to chill, hit me up. It seems like she tried to make Dom jealous about Phil there, and he just refused to reply. Mackenzie says, should I take my hair down right now? What size are you? Swim trunks. Okay, we left. Wish you would answer faster. Dom says, sorry, I was talking to Kyle. Mackenzie says, I was going to get you some cute trunks too, but you didn't answer me. Whoops. Dom says, you should have just got them. Mackenzie says, what size? I'll go back. Dom, answer. Okay, shake my head. I'm getting medium and you don't get to pick. Dom says, small. Mackenzie says, there are only like 2 smalls. Dom says, what one? Mackenzie says, at MTV one. Let me keep looking. And a gray one. Never mind, only the MTV one. Bro, when I'm asking questions about something I'm buying for you, you gotta answer fast. I can't just wait. Dom says, if I can't answer, then don't buy it. It's cool. Mackenzie says, look at Insta, babe. If you don't like those, I can go to American Eagle, and that's the last place I'm going. Dom says, those are okay. I'd have to see how they look on me. If you think they cool, then I'll probably like them. Mackenzie says, I got you some. You're going to love them, I hope. Dom says, okay. Mackenzie says, want to meet up with me and Maddie at the beach? Or are you going to be busy all day? Or if you can hang soon, I won't go with her. Dom says, when I just have to run 2 places. Mackenzie says, soon probably. I'm at the mall. Dom says, okay, just let me know. Mackenzie says, okay, Maddie said she might not want to go, but me and you can go. I want to give you the swimsuit. Dom says, okay. Mackenzie says, me and you can still go to that beach if you want to. There's like never people there and it's nice. It's Rocky River Park. I'm going to be home in 3 minutes. Dom says, yo, you still at the mall? Mackenzie says, no, I'm home, babe. Dom says, damn, I was going to ask for a sub. Mackenzie says, I'll get you one. Dom says, how? Mackenzie says, I can go to Charlie's, then come to your house. Dom says, no, LOL, you're okay. Mackenzie says, I got to show you something. I want to hang and go to that beach, babe. Do you want to go? Dom says, yeah, I could go. Mackenzie says, when do you want to go? Soon, though. Babe, my account negative 200, Dom. We got to fix that. Dom says, how? We didn't spend anything. Mackenzie says, I had no idea. Dom says, we had enough for sure. Mackenzie says, I know that it doesn't say money is taken out. I'm so confused. Are you at Kyle's? Are you going to be done soon? Dom says, I can't find my keys. Mackenzie says, oh God, how long have you been looking? It's also going to get cold soon and it's colder by the lake. Dom says, I finally found them. Mackenzie says, where were they? So are you going to be ready soon? Dom says, yeah. Mackenzie says, okay, I'm ready. Want me to bring you an icy? Dom says, I'm probably okay. Mackenzie says, okay. You going to be ready before 5 or like 10 after? Dom says, I just got home. Mackenzie says, oh, can I come over right now? I'll bring the swimsuit. Dom says, yeah. Mackenzie says, okay, 1, on my way. And that's the end of their messages on the 17th. Oh, cool. Thank you so much, Lulu. Mothership says, I just sent Bubba a message asking who Morgan is. Hopefully, I'll hear back before you're over and out. Awesome, awesome. Kung Fu Panda says, where's Carl? Right? Yeah. Kyle's about to take Carl's place. Ruth says, I use Dippy Doo on big rollers to smooth out my curls. It worked too. I remember Dippy Doo. I remember my grandpas and uncles using that. Stacia says, I feel that I have a tent in my shop and a light, allegedly. Yeah, I used a tent and light too on mine, and it like all the like you got to give them different nutrients and just oh my god, my god. Okay, let me run and grab a quick drink, and I'll be right back, friends. We'll do a couple more days. Okay, I am back. Turn the banner off. Too much steel for Amos. Oh, did we lose Amos Hi-Fi? Oh, nap o'clock. No problem. Enjoy your nap. Panda or Amos Hi-Fi went to see Steel Panther at Steelhouse Festival. She lives in a world of cold steel. That's so funny. Oh, Tempered Iron says she just put us all on D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons. I live in a world of cold steel. Because they're chaotic evil, they would say that.
Thankfully, we're not chaotic evil here, but yeah. We live in a world of cold steel. The outrage. Hang on while I aggressively type this message. Oh, so funny. Yes, we're wishing Amos a good nap. Okay, let me switch over here. And oh, the 18th. There's hardly anything for the 18th. That ends real fast. Oh, crap. My page is freezing up. Take me just a second to get to the right place again, y'all. Hate it when it does this. What the hell? There we go. Need the 18th. Trying to get back up there without losing. Oh my God, why is it doing this? I don't know. I might have to, let me just end that tab completely and refresh. If it doesn't get better, we'll just try again tomorrow, but let's see what I can do here. Not bookmarks, I need history. There we go. Mackenzie's messages. Yeah, I don't know why everything is flipped out all of a sudden. He says, good thing she come back or we would have had issues, but. Oh, man. Well, my tab here has just decided to freak out. It's having issues for real, bet. So I'm going to go ahead and end this now. I go ahead and do my allergy shot and all that good stuff. And then I might come back on this afternoon. We'll see how it goes, see how I feel after that. But yeah, I was prepared to keep reading quite a bit more until my tab here started freaking out on me. So yeah, we having issues for real with it. I'm going to go ahead and end here, friends. Hope everybody's having a good day. Rainbow Ribbons, don't forget to send me your address, and I will talk to you all later.